Let's go.
Yeah. I'm always the dude putting all the hearts. Anytime I see someone's on live, I just pop on real quick.
Dude, same. I'm always like, I'm gonna give a heart no matter what.
When I'm speaking publicly, like I want people to clap me up because it feels better. If they're not clapping me up, I'm like, dang, like let me get some feedback here.
Yes, the little hearts, the little emojis, any positive love, any of the people who just like hop right on into this can give us as we go along. Oh, lots of good familiar names. Let's go.
This is them at the park too. You can tell the parents who are encouragers and those who aren't.
Yeah.
My kid goes down a little slide. I'm like, let's go. The other parents are like all freaked out.
They're like, what happened? What happened?
You got it. They got to look up from their phones to even figure out where the slide is.
Oh, man, I got a funny joke, but I don't know the audience right here, so I'm gonna reserve it for later. I've been working on some stand-up stuff, but I do have a funny park joke when it comes to parents. But yeah, I'll just reserve it. I'll reserve it for privacy first.
Yeah. That's all good. Welcome everybody. We're calling this the Truth in Training Roundtable. I guess I'm a host of this thing because this is now the second time we've done it. Last month we did it with our boy TJ over here. We've expanded, bringing in the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Mr. Zach Homol himself. And the plan for this thing is to let's take a Friday every month. Let's have some cool fitness people who I think are really moving the needle, people who I want to have fun and interesting and probing conversations with about training. Doesn't have to be all serious and deep, but it's got to be exciting, interesting, and aimed at the Substack crowd, I think. A little bit more thought, a little bit more intention to what we're talking about. Can still be goofy. Has to be fun. But I really enjoyed the talk that TJ and I had last month, and it's just an amazing honor to always get to talk to this guy. So what is up, Zach? What is up, TJ? Thank you so much for joining. And thank you, everybody who is here as well. Use that chat, guys. Ask questions. Pop in with your opinions, with your thoughts. I want this to be interactive as well. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Bro, TJ, I love the sandbag get-ups. Great.
Yes,
especially if you're wrestling a fat chick. You really need those.
Dude, I was doing some floor press yesterday too with them actually. And even like, you want to talk about like the Russian twist from hell, because you just have to like get it and to even get into position to press, dude. It's some weird strength, but I would say it's, you know how stuff is always functional fitness. I'm like, there's nothing more functional than just picking up those beefy sandbags.
Yeah, functional fitness gets a really bad rep because you got the Bosey ball and all these like silly exercises, which still require like a lot of strength and stability. And I know the internet hates on them. I'm like, it's actually kind of impressive to me. Like the guy who jumps on like, you know, a 50-foot box jump and he's like overhead pressing 135. I'm like, it's still really badass.
Yeah.
But functional fitness, like when I think of functional fitness, I think of GPP, general physical preparedness. Louis Simmons really made this popular, at least in my era coming up, early 2000s. And when I was learning a little bit about GPP, I'm like, oh, like I was a roofer with my old man, like growing up through high school, I carried shingles up a ladder. And I was like, oh, this is kind of what I'm doing all day is GPP work. And when you're doing the GPP work, think of it like manual labor. A lot of the stuff that TJ does would be like sandbag carries and twists, all these really cool, unique exercises, holds as well. It's like wheelbarrow work. It's truly like manual labor. Thinking about like 20 to even, I mean, you can go to 50, 60, 80% of your max. That's fine. But thinking like 20 to 40% of your max, just consistent work and getting the heart rate up a little bit. And that would have been the only cardio I did when I was strength training to be a world record power lifter and strongman athlete. People are like, oh, you don't lose gains by running. I go, yeah, you do. And I love to push on the internet. I'm like, yes, you do. Like, if you want to be the peak strength, you don't see these guys running. And like my peak cardio guys that I see on, except on X, on Twitter, they ain't never picked up a weight. The wind blows a little bit.
Right.
And they don't, you know, and I see some of the guys as you get to those higher levels of performance, you can start gaming the system a little bit too. What ends up happening is when I was like powerlifting to that level, like I didn't need to warm up. And maybe it's because I was young, but I was doing Dylan Spina can attest to this. I did a 405 bench every day for months. Every single day.
That's crazy.
No warm up. or I could pull 500 no warm up. And I see some of these better runners are like, oh yeah, all I do to warm up for a run is a leg swing. And I'm like, yeah, because you're so specialized, you're so good in the game. So oftentimes we take these different pieces of advice, we should kind of just like take them for what they are. Like, oh, that's impressive or that's cool, but I would never train anybody not to warm up. Like I would always warm up, right? But yet I would do those things myself. Now, as I'm an extremely low level, below amateur runner, like starting all over, but the worst at something, my warm up's like 20, 30 minutes, bro. Like I'm like doing some plyos, stretching my body out real good. Because if not, I feel like I'm gonna pop my Achilles off. So different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
I agree with that point, like leading off of that too, is like talking about maybe how we post our own training or things I specifically do. Like I definitely would say like the amount of clients I actually work with that have access to sandbags or maces or some of the crazier stuff I do doesn't happen. There's really not any. Like most of them, it's getting trained with more traditional methods. And I may still try to implement my style, but exactly like you're saying with the warm up, right? It's like you have to know when people have reached that level of specialization or uniqueness to where that can benefit them versus being like, all right, I'm just going to instill my straight up beliefs and what I like on you. And if you don't like that, sorry. You know what I mean? So it's like finding out how to put your system in a place, but also make it unique to that individual and have them do something they like that fits them better. Cause most people don't have access to sandbags. So for me to be like, oh, you got to get a sandbag. It's like, that's for a good bit of people, not realistic, or they don't think it's fun. Like I do. Like to me, I'm like, oh, big dumb rock. It's a toy.
Yeah.
Like I do not even want to ever look at that thing.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I think that are really valuable now that I'd love to get both of your opinions on. So the question that's coming to my mind after hearing both of you speak about this is how do we discern on the internet who is for real in the training world and who is just there for show, or who's just there to like my system, my ego, my biceps, whatever. Like you guys are in the you need to mog us all. Whoever's giving the hearts, we love you. We love you. Give the heart.
Yeah, what's up, Mike? Hey, I'll tell you right now, man. You can typically tell the people who run together. Look, we all found each other. Us three are just here having conversations. I don't know, maybe because I've been in the game so long. I've been creating content since 2010, but a couple big names I guess you see on Twitter: Mike Donatelli, Bailey Schober. Like you see a lot of these guys. We all kind of run together. Dylan Spina, Jay Azotine, like dudes who are doing Ryan Dreyer. Like all these dudes are doing things in person, like in the real world. They're competing, which is like for me just such a big element to fitness. You got to get out there. Anybody can say they're anything, and you can pretend to be anything. But when you're at competition day, you have to show up under those conditions and circumstances, which is just never perfect. And if you've ever done a competition, I got a running competition coming up. Guess what? My knee's hurting all of a sudden. It's like the body's starting to reject you right before the competition.
Always.
So, I think always. For real, man. They're like doing things in person, and they're running with other people because like attracts like realness is attractive, and people are attracted to realness. And I think that's one thing. I think posting receipts are another. I do recognize a content strategy. I get to coach a lot of people with content stuff. So people have different strategies, and I know confrontation is something that helps people get engagement. And you see that more on X or Twitter maybe than we do here on Substack, which I really appreciate. Substack is a little bit more of my pace. But nonetheless, I think a lot of times when we see these, like, I want to say like nuanced takes and like there's like subtle truth in it though, man. There like is a little bit of truth at times in what people are saying. So I can see why but when they pose it a certain way, you're like, oh, you're just kind of reach for engagement. So I take it with a grain of salt. And for me, if you're like a person out there and you're truly seeking like a coach, like a mentor in the training world or any world, who's doing it in person, man? Like who's actually doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Who's doing it? That's the most surest way to get results is to actually look at the people who are doing it in person.
Yeah, I really like that, man. I mean, I would piggyback off a lot of that, and then like kind of all the quote like "man in the arena," right? Like you said, who's putting in the work, who's doing hard things, who's maybe posting not just their successes, but failures or the ugly attempts, not just everything's, the perfect get ready with me routine, like where it's a perfect day. And then I also think it's like, I think I like one thing you said, that it's not necessarily like everyone's playing a game to a certain extent, right? Like if you have a business on here, even if you're being authentic in yourself, we want growth, or I know for me at least, right? Like I'm trying to grow my audience to do the greater good of what I believe. But it's are you getting there the right way? Like, am I putting people down to get there? Am I putting up fake expectations for others to see and be like, oh, this is like for me, that would be like for me to be like, hey, I'm as strong as I am now with these sandbags at 205, and like I have a system to get there. But what people don't see is I was a fat 260 plus pound power lifter for years, and then spent years walking and taking the long route and slowly entering endurance events to get down way weaker at first. Like you talked about, you do the cardio, you're going to get weaker. I was fighting like hell to not, and I was still getting weaker.
Yeah.
But now I'm on the rebound of that. I took a break from my last I did a self Ironman, half Ironman last year. I didn't get the opportunity to go do it. Well, another story for another day. But now I'm starting to get where I'm picking up this 250 pound sandbag. I'm getting my strength back. And if someone looks at that in that one view lens, it would be really easy for me to try to put that story around it and be like, this is the way of the sandbag. You just need to do what I'm doing. And it's like, no, there's so much context to my journey of fitness and evolution of how I got here that is allowing me to do that now.
It's like the person that you want to put your trust in is going to, in a sense, like reflect something good back into you, as opposed to like reflecting a nicer version of themselves back onto you. It's like, do as I do and you too will be as fit as I am.
Yeah.
Which is absurd to think about. And one way that we can judge that is the competitions and the in-person and the receipts. But I really like what TJ was saying about like the way you're going about it as well. Like, are you just somebody that is projecting yourself out as a way to compensate, or are you truly out there, searching for the truth? One of my big beliefs is like, I named this talk, like the truth is in the training. Like whatever is the truth about what you're doing will be found out at some point, and we're going to find out, right? Like if you say you're going to do this and you don't, and then it's all just excuses and victim and yeah, but I could have done it on this day or that day, and there's no ownership or responsibility, that person is not for real. And that's just not, that's in the fitness world for sure, but in the other world, I think what we love about the fitness world is you can find out the frauds a lot more quickly in the fitness world. You guys agree with that?
I think when you dig in, yes, but I do see, I think, and this is different between the main, they're talking about like, I would more say like Instagram or TikTok or those fast forms of short content. Like, I think it tricks a lot of people, or they come in with a belief of trust at first. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular, but just in general, the typical guy who's on TRT is an influencer and doesn't convey that, or is like, I have this system, and then completely excludes that, right? Or something of that to that degree. So I feel like it's hard to tell from a glance, but as you look in more and can use some critical thinking, you can start to right away flag the people that are based on the things y'all have said.
I think people who get duped are going to get duped no matter what. You're going to get duped
That's a good point.
You'll get duped in your stock market. You're going to get duped in your career. At the end of the day, guys, we got to take personal responsibility again. Like, I hired a coach and I didn't get any results. I'm like, all right, man, like at the end of the day, everyone knows what you need to do. You need to eat less and move more. You can try to split it a million different ways, but that's just kind of the reality of nature. That's how we got to lose weight. That's how we're going to get in shape. So I mean, if a coach wants to be dishonest or whatever, that's his life. You got to answer to the Lord. That ain't on me. But I always take power back to the self. Like if I put all my money in Bitcoin and lose all my money, damn it, whose fault is that? That's my fault. I'm like, right. I'm duped by the system, this, that, and there. Like I make that conscious choice. I make that decision. And, my brands Do Hard Things. And Do Hard Things, at the foundation of hard things, is personal accountability. It's ownership. So it's all my fault. After the race, so I set a PR last year. I only ran 70 miles all year. I had this stupid leg issue going on and anterior tib, just a sissy foot, man, or sissy leg. And my feet were weak, which was devastating to my ego because I was always barefoot. And nonetheless, Barefoot Will should be able to help me out, though. You got a question we're going to answer here in a second. Yeah, but after the race, I run 75 miles, just like pure willpower, man, to make this thing happen. And I was super excited. I needed it. It was a rough year. I had lost my dog earlier in the year, Spike. And it was just a rough year on our family. It was like postpartum for my wife. And I needed a win, man. And I got it. And it was super glorious for me. But Jordan and I was on a call, not even a week later, and we're talking and, we're hyping each other up. I'm talking to him about weakness development. I'm not basking. Oh man, I'm so great. I won. I'm like, I could have won 15 more if I would have just did 1, 2, 3. I took accountability for where I was at and how to adjust to my weakness. And when I see a weakness exposed personally within myself, maybe this comes from early training in the conjugate system. So for those who understand conjugates, it's like a rotation of exercises. You're going to a max effort almost every week on something. So if you like ego lifting, you would love conjugate lifting.
My favorite programs to
run. My favorite, dude. And people always make fun of ego lifting online. I go, there's whole sports created for ego lifting. You ain't never done strongman? Like, yeah, your body's in a bad position. I'm like, strongman's literally lift the biggest rock in the most vulnerable position, and who doesn't snap a disc?
Yeah.
I'm like, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But weakness development. So you fail every week. So I was never worried about failure. I was actually so consistent in failure. If I were to look at my training from circa 2004, 2005 to probably 2018, 2019. So a long time, over a decade, I failed on a lift every single week. And on paper and by the social media influencer, they would say that's the dumbest thing ever, but they're always weaker than me. They're always weaker, the guys who say this stuff. But on the backside, what it taught me mentally, it taught me that, hey, when I stumble, when I fall, there's always another opportunity to try again. And this really influenced me a ton within my career, within my business. I got so consistent in failing in business. I was like, I'm gonna eventually have to find a way. I've figured out every way not to do this. So eventually I'm going to figure out a way to do this. In my relationships as well, I took a hit in a relationship, falls down. I'm like, okay, let me get back up. What did I do wrong? Let me take ownership. Let me make an adjustment to this. The training is such a microcosm to real life, especially if you're working towards these failures. And personally, for me, that's always kind of how I saw my training and like to go about it.
Preach. Absolutely. Like the thing that comes through strong in that here is like the love of humility. It's like the love of like thinking you're something and that you're hot or that you've got it all figured out. And then all of a sudden, like the training just exposes you ruthlessly. There's no like soft come down. Like this was me last year, you know, because Zach and I, we did the same race, the Backyard Ultra. We're doing it again this year. And 2 years ago, can't wait. And that's what Barefoot asked about. Quick note on the fueling strategy: more clean food all day. That's my strategy. More clean
all day.
Cleaner nutrition all day. That's the goal. Lots of food that I like, but not a lot of the junk that's found its way onto my table the last couple years. Not an excuse to just eat whatever you want anymore. Little bit more intentional on the quality of calories, and probably also experimenting with some. If it's not instant mashed potatoes, I don't want it. Yeah, bags of mashed potatoes. Let's go, Andrew. Andrew is a teammate, and he came down just to crew one of our guys last year at this race. And the guy he crewed is like loves his bags of mashed potatoes.
Heck
like,
yeah.
as fuel. But when you're saying I'm not afraid of failure, it's like what I hear is I love humility. That's what I hear. I hear like I love humility. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be shown where I can improve, where I can improve. And I wonder if if you feel the same way in terms of the ways in which like the gym and the training sort of stretches us to our limits, and we can just feel them so obviously, like that actually like makes us love like just the truth and this like this embrace of humility, which I think most people don't want that, but we seem to thrive with it.
I think that's like one from a philosophy standpoint with why I like training, exactly, because I want to do harder things. I want to learn more about myself when my back's against the wall, physically or metaphorically speaking, right? But also, to tie it in, like my background is still, although I have strayed away from this, it's heavily was rooted in exercise science to start, right, with going to school and whatnot. And that's something I translate into actual training. And I know Zach will probably right away like recognize this from conjugate, which is another way I learned it in principles. But targeting your weaknesses, like not only does training show you your weaknesses, but then to take that info and target your weaknesses for the next go around and be like, not only am I wanting to find my weaknesses out, but I want to center my whole next training block or plan around attacking those weaknesses till so much so something else has become my new weakness. That's another philosophy I try to tell people is like, if you ever think you don't have a weakness, you just haven't reevaluated, right? Like that once you make something a strength, you need to reevaluate because something else has to be weak in the system or change somewhere, and then it's rinse repeat forever.
Yeah, well said, TJ. And there's this idea too, is like properly addressing the weakness. So, okay, my lower back is always tight. Okay, is your hamstrings tight? Your hamstrings weak, or is your lower back weak? Like something's typically happening. Sure, mobility, let's move the body. But when a tight muscle is typically a weak muscle, you can start addressing these things now. So using the proper exercise selection to be able to target the weakness. A couple of weeks ago, I was just doing a lot of pull-ups and chin-ups. I was traveling a lot, so I simplified my training. I did pull-ups, chin-ups, push-ups, and ran and like mountain biking with my kid. And someone's like, well, why chin-ups over pull-ups? And I see this oftentimes, like people debating the best exercises. I've actually saw them all to be equal. They're just tools in the tool belt. All I'm trying to do is use this exercise to get better at this next thing. And that thing is wherever the competition is that day. In powerlifting, the big three, squat, bench, deadlift. But in strongman, they'd always be rotating the exercise, something different and new exposure to weaknesses and strength development. What I love so much about strongman training is as you train into a new stimulus, maybe it's like a pick and a carry, right? Your farmers. There's times, dude, you're picking 305 per hand. So you're picking up whatever, 610 pounds. You got to carry it for 50 feet, which is hard. And I was like very bad at this exercise. And here's something why I love so much about strongman. It actually exposes those who are very tactical in strength and those who are brute force strong.
That's a great point.
And here's what I realized. Like I was deadlifting, like Dylan Spina deadlifted 600. I deadlifted 600 for 16 plus reps. Dylan Spina beat me by like 15 seconds on a 600-pound pickup.
Wow.
Because he's a raw dog, man. He's just raw strength. If you're around Dylan, you're like, oh yeah, you just know the guy. Like you get a little, we'd wrestle, you get a little scuffle with him. Like I was tactical. That's how I was able to get the most out of my lifts. So of course you have to be, strong to lift heavy weights, but strongman is the truest form of brute force strength out of any other exercises that you do. Sandbag, a stone. I saw someone on Twitter, I think maybe it was Substack here. They're like, they're talking about like a new decathlon. Is that the way you say it? It might have been something like that.
Yeah.
But given all these different stimuluses for it. And I'm like, if it comes to strength, like probably the purest form of strength would simply be picking up big, heavy rock and then carrying it as far as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Extra weight to be pitted up over your head. That's going to be the strongest guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I love where this is going. It's sort of moving towards one of the things I thought we could have fun talking about, which is creativity in training. And what you just mentioned, Zach, about like they're all, look at these studs. Everybody here is a stud. That's the thing. Like there's no duds here. Everyone's a stud.
No dud.
There's no duds. We're all studs. We're all studs. I love when you talk about how like every exercise is just a tool in the toolkit, and I'm going to wield it based on what I think it's going to help me for the next thing that I'm doing. And like you guys come from like training backgrounds, all studs, no duds. Let's go. You guys come from like physical training backgrounds, and I am a philosopher and a historian. So I don't have like and it's so ironic because I actually have a PhD in kinesiology, but both of you would school me on an anatomy test because I don't know anything about the muscles or the compounds or any of that stuff. That's beyond me. But what I have is this intuition about the way my body feels and what I need to do to work on the weakness that I'm feeling. And like, I'm a runner, and so that's always going to leave me with legs that are sore and an upper body that is lacking strength. So early on in my fitness journey, I just started experimenting and creating and just like literally like punk rocking my way into cross training implements and exercises that like maybe they work, maybe they don't work, but I want to see what it feels like. So in particular for me, like that was a lot of jump rope, a lot of weighted jump rope, and a lot of this sort of GPP stuff with like kettlebells, maces, clubs, and bodyweight calisthenics. And so I would love for like you, Zach, and for you, TJ, to like talk about how important it is to get creative with like the exercises that we're doing and like why we should be okay to like just go out and explore and have fun with our bodies in ways that may not necessarily seem as if they're the way we should be doing it, as everybody online or is trying to tell us. So like, let's give the people out there creative license to go have a little bit more fun and give them a little bit of the wisdom and the guidance that you guys have, you know, as actual fitness coaches here and trainers.
Go ahead, TJ.
I think I was replaying last time we were talking in my mind. You said something that I think I drew a blank when we were talking last time, and what you just said re-sparked it. So I'm so glad I finally thought of it. I will have to plug it for everyone after I send it to you guys. I don't remember the specific name of who wrote this book, but this started as a sports concept and the way he talks about it, but it's called constraint-based learning. And it essentially is kind of putting a model on what you just said, Jordan. And the example he used at first was with baseball players, is how this started. And quick rundown is essentially, instead of having people in the batting cage and doing all these technical hitting drills, right? He was like, I'm going to have them cover one eye. I'm going to have them the next time just backhand swing, just front hand swing. So kind of intuitively figuring out whatever their weakness is without having so much of the technical background behind it. And then it built on this whole philosophy that the body will self-regulate, like given said task with some constraint, but not total guidance of perfect technique, sets, reps, robot-like, which is how, let's be honest, most sports and fitness are with research and how it goes. But basically, given some constraints, the body will self-regulate and figure out how to excel at given problem. And I've started to try to adapt that into training too. And it's like ways to just make things more engaging for the individual and auto-regulate it. So say you're doing 5 sets of 10, any exercise, squat, bench, whatever. What if instead of 5 sets of 10, you gave the individual complete 50 reps of this exercise in 10 to 15 minutes? That could be accomplished with so many different ways, right? They could do 5 sets of 10 with a couple minutes rest. They could do 50 singles if they wanted to, or anything in between. So I think it's just like you said, it's not only like leading people down the right path with tools, but then let's give them freedom to not be like burn out on programming, or let them scratch that itch they may have one day to go heavy, or the next week have a bad week and they need to go light. And it's like, at the end of the day, if someone putting in more effort on something that is less optimal will probably beat out the person who's doing the optimal thing but putting in a half-assed effort, right? Like if you love chopping trees down and you go out there and you chop 100 logs today, we could find the best science-based core plan ever, and I guarantee you our log cutter is jacked and ripped in the core more than the other guy.
Yeah. Man, TJ, I love all the things you said. Loving an exercise, loving a stimulus is what I believe to be most important And when the love starts to die, you got to shift, man. You got to turn. Guys are like, why would you give up something you're so good at for something you suck so much at? Like my wife, for instance, might say this. Like, and I would be like, well, like I needed a new jacket. Stay humble, man. You just marry a strong woman. She'll tell you how it is. But I wanted to change things up. I needed a new goal. I needed something fresh. I wanted to explore more. There's also, I want to hit the guy right now who's listening back to this and say, hey, if you're like bored in the gym, a lot of times I even see on social media, like, oh, if you're bored lifting weights, you're not a real man. I'm like, no, like you could totally be a real man and be very bored lifting weights. Lifting weights gets very boring very quickly, especially if you're more of like an adventure seeker. You spend a lot of time outdoors in nature, getting underneath those fluorescent lights. And if the gym culture is like blah, like most LA Fitnesses or Globo, Anytime Fitness style gyms, it's really tough. It's like really tough for a certain personality type. And I resonate with that personality type. I would first encourage that guy to go get involved in some type of like smaller box gym. The smaller gyms, the ones you need a tetanus shot to go into, the gyms like mine, yeah, bro, those are the spots, and you have more camaraderie and you also have like more enthusiasm around lifting. And with that, there's like a different expression with the movements. So I'd encourage that first, but to continue to answer the creative question, the creative training question, and why I love this so much is because what it does is it allows for more exploration of weaknesses. So kind of piggybacking back off of my previous talk is whenever you see people talk about getting sore, for instance, like soreness is not a good indicator of a good workout. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. It's not the sole indicator of it. There's this idea like when I was powerlifting and I'm doing my things to get stronger, I wasn't always all that sore because I was pretty consistent in the different movement patterns, even if there was slight variety in them in which I was doing them. But then I tell you what, dude, if I'd go push the sled for 15 minutes, I couldn't walk for the next day.
Yeah.
Or if I go put out some efforts on the bike, I couldn't walk the next day, right? Like all of a sudden, when you get really, really sore, it's typically an indicator that you're exposed to some type of weakness within the system. So when I'm peak powerlifting, my weakness is cardiovascular health. My weakness is just moving in general. Like moving in general becomes hard. But when I start to push more and more and more into my endurance world and I don't keep up with some baseline strength work, really quickly, you'll do 20 air squats and you're sore the next day. Like this is a real thing. Guys who are deep into endurance can attest to this. I said, brother, that's a weakness. You should actually draw mileage back a little bit and then go ahead and get a little bit stronger. And that's going to help improve your mileage overall in the future. So also this whole idea about creative training, it's exploration for weaknesses and like Jordan, like you said, like humility, honesty, if you will. Humility is the precursor to honesty, or honesty is the precursor to humility. So whichever way you want to look at it, man, it's got to happen. So I like to get honest with my training about like, where am I weak right now? Where am I exposed? And let me lean a little bit into there and then scale it. And personally, what I get is like a short mini goal, a 4-week mini goal or a 6-week mini goal. I just went through one of like pull-ups, like not just like speed reps. I want to like them hold at the bottom reps, chin up over top of the bar reps. And ironically, my best was 25 the other day at the Indy 500 when I was like,
dude, that video was great.
I was like not in good shape. So I think I can do 30 of those. I'm close to doing 30 good ones. And that was like, that's just like a mini goal that I set because like in the winter time when I started doing more pull-ups, I'm like, I did like 10 of them. They were tough for me because I haven't been doing them. So like, let me go ahead and do these a little bit more consistently. And I think a lot of people out here would be really inspired by this. If you like just picked a couple different exercises and you worked on scaling those. Conjugate taught me that and it built a confidence within me. So in the failure, it's great because now I get to work on the development of it, but also over like 3, 6, 9 weeks, well, what ends up happening is you get a lot of progress, and in progress comes more confidence. Confidence unearned is this egoism. So you want to earn it. You want to do the thing, and doing it this way, being creative and finding new stimuluses allows you the opportunity to kind of be a rookie and then get those newbie gains. And you keep doing that and cycling it. And I could just think back, like when I switched over to endurance stuff, 2021, 2020, I did a sprint triathlon 2021, 2020, 2022, I did the Ironman. I thought in 2022, I said, I'm going to run 100 miles. I'll give myself a decade to do it. And why I said a decade is because it took me a decade to squat what I thought was a respectable squat, 600 plus pounds. And everyone has their own relativeness. And I'll call you a sissy if you think 500 is a heavy deadlift. It's just my personality, like how I like to communicate. It's from a place that you're weak. It's from a place that I think if you put your mind to anything, you can accomplish it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it took me 10 years to get there. So I set a vision. That's not a goal. That's a vision. A goal is something that I can reach within a couple months. That's a goal. A vision is something I'm going to go after over the next 5 to 10 years. And here I am on year, 4 now in 100 spinal insights.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to do that without sacrificing the other 2 areas of my life that I find to be very important. You got your personal health and growth, but you got these other 2 areas that I find to be very important and dear to me, which is my family and my career. So I could have ran 100 in a year, but I would have sacrificed my family and career along the way, and I wasn't willing to do it. So all these goals have to move in harmony together up.
Yeah.
It's going to take longer time. Most people fail on goals. Check this out, guys. Most of the time your goals fail is because your timelines are too crunched. You got to push them out a little bit. You push those goals out, and all of a sudden you get to operate with the typical rhythms of life. If you're not baking in a couple months to drink beers around the fire with your friends, and it's going to set you back on your Saturday sessions. If you're like me, I like to do that, for instance.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do that and bake that in, you're going to be pretty let down. But if you bake that into your life, if you can bake in the kids being sick, not sleeping for a week or 2, tell me that, can I get an amen? If you don't bake that into your training, next thing you know, that's going to set you back 2 to 4 weeks. You're going to be feeling let down. You might just give up on yourself. I'm like, no, just push your timeline out a little bit. It'll be totally cool. And that's how you accomplish big things, is you just push that timeline a little bit.
Okay.
Dreyer says, lower the bar, raise the execution.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, man.
That's fire. You guys just schooled everybody. That's amazing. That tip about the mini goals is so crucial. That is like, and we'll get to like maybe the importance of competition in a bit, but I was somebody that I ran in the forest by myself for like 9 years, right? And I kept getting faster and I kept being able to go longer because I kept rotating the mini goals. So it would be like, I go out into the forest, I'd run a route, maybe it'd be like a 5 miles, and be like, okay, I kind of like this. How fast am I doing it today? Okay, I want to blast that by 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes in the next. And it's weather dependent. I used to live up in Canada, so it was a very short trail running season because snow, ice, bugs, mud, all that fun stuff. So you'd have these, like, nature would be giving me the timeline. Nature would be giving me the competition date of like, okay, like you're not able to run fast on the trails until May. So that's when you got to test whether what you've been doing in the winter time has been working. And then before the leaves fall in summer. In fall would be the other time, because once the leaves fall, it's all slippery and you can't see the rocks and the roots, and you want to run fast on that, like you're going right to the hospital very quickly. So I had this like nature gave me the exact window of time to be like, okay, this year is a speed year. I'm going to get so fast at this 5 mile block. And then I want to train in a way over the winter that when I come back, I'm actually going to go faster on that 5 miles. Yeah. And then I'm going to switch up the goal because that's boring. And then it'd be, so I just did 5 miles. Now I'm going to figure out how to go 8 miles. 1 pack of Anchor. Oh gosh, come on. Let's go. Right. Like, but this is a way in which you can have fun ratcheting up towards progress, because without the progress, you won't stay with it. Let's be real. Like, we need to be rewarded for our efforts. We need to be rewarded for our sacrifices. But just like allowing yourself to feel out what's kind of a fun thing to go for in the moment that's attainable, that's going to keep you excited. And then the moment it's not, you discard it and put in something new. That's like the secret sauce, I think, to not just winning in the short term, but I think what we're really interested in is like, how do we do this over the long term? Yeah. And how do we impact not just our own lives, but like the people who are coming to us for advice and for guidance? Like, how do we make sure that they stay in the game as long as possible? Because we're finding so much value in just doing it and loving the humility and loving the challenge and loving the fun and the creativity that these are kind of the most important elements on this.
I think one thing that just kind of sparked in me too, like almost tying together for anyone who's popped in or was gone or like just everything we just roundtabled there is like you have to have the humility to not be too much attached to one single identity and be able to let one quality temporarily go down or be sacrificed in order to build your weakness up. And then, like I said, just this, everything we just said all click together. And it's like, it seems like all these far fetched things you need to identify. But if you truly believe them and implement it well, it's like synergistic with each other and they all build off of each other. Like that's been a big thing for me is, yeah, like letting my strength like dip or because I know of when I become out this other little side quest and this other journey I'm on with some endurance stuff, that when I get back into strength, I'm going to be a better person for it, or vice versa. Like it's, or even like you're saying within one individual thing, like running specifically. Like I know if I need to go slower than this season and longer, so when I'm ready to go faster, I have the engine for it. Or I need to go faster and harder in this season so that I can build up the capacity to work that bigger engine and earn that bigger engine. So I just think it's cool that all this is like, I know this stuff. I'm a coach, but it was like, oh, it clicked and light bulb went off in my head as we were talking.
Man, one thing that I love about competition where I kind of got the ultra bug, even Ironman was fine. I think the crowd's if they're a little loose in the shoes, man. I don't know.
A little different.
They're a little funky, but the ultra crowd is cool, man. They are a cool group of guys, and I love this event we do, the Backyard Ultra. TJ, I love the peer pressure you to doing this with us. And,
dude, I actually looked into it's a 100-miler, right?
It's actually however far you can go. It's the last man standing. You can't beat the race kind of. You can't beat the race kind of race.
Is this the December one, Jordan? I mean,
in
both
September.
of you.
Oh no,
Okay.
I sent you the one we're doing next year in Georgia because it's right local to you. We're doing a 50 miler and a 100 miler with Team Tribal.
That's what I think. I would whenever we got to it, or if it was gonna be later. I was gonna start. I'm signing up. I'm leaving my honeymoon tomorrow, but when I get back, I've got some clients, friends in my group. I'm doing a 25K. So I'm trying to get there. My goal right now is to do a 25K in December. I want to do amateur Georgia strong, the pro strongman, or not pro, the amateur strongman next July. And then, so that'd give me a perfect 6-month cycle to try to get back and then do a longer race. Also, it might be a tight timeline, but I'm down for it, dude. I'm wanting to get into more endurance stuff. Like I unfortunately had to do my Ironman here. So I've still had that competition bug. Like I got the goal, but I didn't get to do the competitive part of it. So I'm ready for some more like going to races and putting myself in the arena style events.
Let's go.
So this Backyard Ultra, what you'll love about it, dude, is every hour on the hour you come back to camp. So it's only like 4.17 mile loop. And a lot of people are like, oh, that would suck to run the same loop all the time. I'm like, maybe, whatever. I don't feel that way. It's just like I'm kind of like with my friends, but I remember like on like mile 50 or 60, we've been running, we've been out for a long time, and a couple, the vibes are so high at the beginning, and then you get there and something shifts, man. The body's barking at you. It's about time to get off the feet, and people are like, I just want this to be over. And I hear that all the time. I was like, no. This is our moment. Like we come to do this moment. Like when you want it to be over, like when the mind first starts saying that, I'm always like, finally.
Yeah.
It took me fucking 17 hours to get here. I'm such in my mind. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not gonna walk around like this, but in my mind, like to put you guys in the spirit of the competition. In my mind, I mean, you're so fucking badass. It takes 17 hours to break you. This is the moment we come. I'm here to lean into this moment. I want to suffer. I don't want to run from suffering. I don't want to run from pain. This is where I learn. This is my moment.
Yeah.
Finally, this moment comes. This is the type of energy I feel like we need to have in competition, which can be then like intense, but in the same breath. And I also will tap the guy and be like, and dude, our wives are giving us permission to run in circles all day. And they're feeding us. All right, dude. They're like, come on. It don't get any better than this. Like, I come back to camp, my wife's cooking me burritos, we're chillaxing, and for a couple minutes, I'm not very fast. I can get back out there and run again. But it's almost like permission to run with the homies all day long, to be engaging with the crew, to having a good time. Like, how often do you get to hang out with your friends for, 18, 20, 30, whatever hours that we get to run for? Just and you get fed while you're doing it. Like, you have no other responsibilities literally than just continuing to go. So I love the energy, the atmosphere of an ultra marathon for that particular reason, that I get to be out there with my friends in the woods or in a field the whole day long. My wife's feeding me, and I get to push myself. We do some events here in my Do Hard Things community where we do 50K rucks or 100. We did a 100K ruck a couple of years ago, which took over 20 hours, which was very hard. The feet was pretty beat up. We did it through the night. It rained. It was a torturous event. And you get to the end of this thing, right? And we just parked at a church parking lot. They blessed us enough to let us park there. And we get there and we're like, all right, see you next time. Nobody's cheering for you. Nobody's telling you you're great. Your body's barking at you for like a week, but and that's what it is, right? It's that process. And what I try to teach the community is like, hey, the finish line's great. Like the Ironman finish line. I mean, I finished that Ironman finish line. I came across it, and my wife's like, "You did such a good job, babe. Like, I love how you are always reinventing yourself." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, girl." She's like, "Man, like 100 people over the age of 60 came in before you."
Easy,
because it's kind of this vibe of like the finish line is awesome, man. Like, I love it, but when you do an event that doesn't really have a finish line, like the backyard, for instance, or like a 100K ruck or a 50K ruck, your 25K ruck you're doing with the homies,
yeah.
You do those events and they don't have a finish line, you really get to learn that, hey, man, the learning's in the process. It's in the doing.
It's such a valuable thing to point out about the competitions, because the finish line is like the illusion. And it's like, we only need the finish line there so that when we cross it, we realize we didn't need it, right?
I like that.
And the reason why we have the finish line is just to get us to the start. That's why the finish line is there. It's just to get us to the start. And then once you cross the start line, it is celebration time. It's celebration time. And you talk about like the Ironman finish line. Like I just did my first 70.3 a couple weeks ago, and I totally even forgot that the finish line was a thing. Like, I'm not even kidding. They have like that red and black carpet, and you're running down, and I'm next to this guy, and he kind of does a little kick. And I turned to him and I told him, dude, just dust me. Just you go, you smash me, you be the guy that crosses the line, like smoking the competition, just do it. And he turned to me, he's like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, okay, I'll give you another 5 seconds or so. And then I took it away, and then I dusted him. But I forgot that they take like 1,000 photos of you, and that there's 100 or 200 strangers that are all cheering for you. And I just like I would have finished any other race, like, or not a race. I just did a gigantic 360 spin, and I have all these photos of like my back crossing the line, because it wasn't even important to me like that the line was crossed. The whole event itself was the celebration, and the training was the thing that taught me all the things that I needed to know. So, for the people that are listening, and thank you everybody for listening, like amazing support here, guys. Thank you so much. What Zach just mentioned is one of the things that he is for real, because he's not putting the emphasis on the outcome of the competition, which is what so many people do in the fitness space. And it's not as if to say like those are the people you want to avoid, but when somebody speaks something like that, that is someone to go towards. That's somebody to go towards, because that is the holistic, that is the sustainable, that is the expressive way that fitness won't just like be stopped inside of the body. It's how we're actually going to be able to, and I think it was Dido here in the chat who talked about how this stuff maps out it so nicely into the rest of our lives. Yeah, but only if you bring the right intention, only if you bring the right attitude, only if you have the right posture and orientation. And the way that you described that, the why you are in the arena and why you compete, it's exactly like the training method. It's like, I want to compete so that my weaknesses can be exposed.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thankful for the pain. I'm thankful for the hurt. I don't need the big celebration at the finish line. The last ultra that I finished, I came in last with my buddy he was hurting. He blew out his leg, kind of like ego running. And I was sick. I couldn't breathe out my nose. So we walked and we hobbled and we fought through the dark. and it's like mile 52, 50 miler, and it's where's this finish line? Where is it? And you're walking in the dark the whole time. And we walk down this little staircase, and we got to be thinking the finish is somewhere. And we're on a road, and we turn to the left, and the finish line is 10 feet away. And it's like, oh, there's the finish, and everybody's gone home, and there's no finish line. And then the volunteers come up, and they're like, hey, you guys finished. Way to go. And it's like, what? We finished? Like, for real? So if you aim yourself towards like the glory and the celebration and the becoming of the finish line, guys, you missed the whole thing. Like you literally missed the whole thing. And, that's certainly what I like to talk about, with the people that I coach and on the team that I coach on is like, well, what do we actually want to get out of these competitions, right? Like we want to be serious and we want to train for them, but let's put them in their proper context and let's utilize them to enhance our training and to enhance our lives, not just to validate that I can hit some number or do something. TJ, how do you take that in terms of why you would want to compete? Because you're aiming towards a couple competitions next year.
Yeah, I would say the first. I was going to say this anyway, but actually, your question is like you read my mind already. I think it's about just surrounding yourself with people like you generally want to get better. So like even just being in here with you guys and like Jordan, this is our second combo. Like this is literally the first time I was telling my wife earlier, like, oh yeah, I've talked to Zach, but like this is our first time really meeting, like we just kind of networked.
Kind of meeting. It's like kind of meeting.
You know what I mean? Like social media, how it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like I know someone, but at the same time you don't. But just being this influence right now of like you guys been like, oh dude, you got to do a backyard with us. Like that's pulling me more out of my comfort zones. Like I might need a little more time to prep for that. And like I haven't even hit these longer. I was training for an ultra a little bit a couple years ago and tore my groin. And then that's when I was like, I'm just doing the Ironman next and got through that. But it is pushing me further out of my comfort zone, which I need, right? So I think, and then to tie back what you said is like getting your individual reason out of why you're being in a competition, right? So it's like, I want to grow. Like, I'm not necessarily outcome oriented either. Like I want to check the box and say I completed it with whatever standard I put up for myself. But it's like, whether that's first place or last place to me in a larger context, personally doesn't matter. I'm not like that kind of driven competitive person. But doing things I've been doing allowed me to get into a position to meet and talk to you two. And now that's giving me a position to try to level up again and get people like y'all who have been there before. And, just like most things, people love to pay it back. Like I really like, that's one of the biggest things. I feel like people are like gyms or the fitness environments can be, I guess what people gatekeep or like they don't want to help newcomers. But me personally, any experience I've had is like, I feel like every time I throw myself into competitions, I find more and more people through it that like want to just keep seeing me do better or they want to do hard things alongside me like that. So I think I find my friends and community within the competition space too.
Yeah, man, I'm in a season of my life. I'll share as a friend. He used to talk about the other day. I'm in a season of my life that I got my family. And if you like to go running, we can be friends.
Yeah.
If you like to lift, we can be friends. Like I'm just in a season of life that the people I surround myself with, like I get a lot of connection already from what I do for my work. So I'm already around a lot of strong dudes, but like in my day-to-day life, like last night, for instance, I went on a run at 7 p.m. from my front door with 3 other friends. Angel, he actually got second last year in the backyard. Bailey,
Hero Angel.
And Mike Paquette, which Mike was this year. I love Mike. And Mike had just actually been at church camp. He wasn't there, by the way. He's a young guy. He's only 21, but he was leading church camp for a bunch of teens. And he had just got done. He's walking 20,000 steps. Everyone's kind of dragging ass. It's 7 p.m. Well, why am I running at 7 p.m.? That's when we put Ambrose down. So my wife was putting him down. Why am I running from my front door and not like meeting the guys somewhere else? Well, because I'm running from my home because that's all the time that I have. So like I'm just going about my life and I just hit my friends up and say, would you like to join? And Jay Asletine, he's either watching or he'll watch this back, but he just knows what it's like to be my friend. You're just going to get a random text out of nowhere. I'm Googling in 2022, what's the hardest single day? It's that Ironman. I said, great. I text all my friends. We're running Ironman this year. You in? All my friends. Yes. In. What the hell? Can't swim. I'm in. Then we just go run this thing. We go do it. And that's kind of how I do things. I love to be challenged. And then I include my friends in it. So like halfway through the conversation, I'm like, you should come run very on fire with us. And you spend enough time with me, people start laughing. Like, you hang out with Zach, you're going to get in really good shape. You're going to do your fitness. Like, you'll probably sit in a sauna longer than you need to sit in a sauna for. And you end up quitting your job and try to start a business. Like, I'm always just trying to push guys. Like, why not you, dude? You're great. You should totally do this thing. I realize most people they're really capable of anything, like anything they set their mind to. The reality of it is, guys, like, there's dumber people out there than us doing this stuff. Like, you can do really anything you set your mind to. You often just need a little nudge. You need somebody to be like, hey, you should do this. Like, you should consider doing it. I had a mentor growing up who would do that. He's like, well, why can't you bench 405? Because I'm like, man, these guys are crazy to bench 405. He goes, you can do that. And I'm like 14, benching eyes on each side. I'm like, what? But he told me I could do it. And it kind of like, oh yeah, why not me? And everything from there has kind of been how I've done my life. I've saw something out there. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. I just need time. Just give me the time to do it, and I'll put the efforts to get it.
Yeah. We're coming up on the end here. This has been awesome. It flew by.
This has been great.
Which means it's been great. I'd love for you guys to just like a couple of things that really stick out to me. The use of the word love. Awesome. I mean, to me, love's got to be the foundation of your fitness. Otherwise, there's just no chance that you're going to stay with it because it's so hard. Like even Jordy, since having kids, right? Time is the thing I'm always chasing. Like what makes you eat the screams from your kid? What makes you eat all of the discomfort and say like, oh, it's 23 and a half hours of torture today, but there was like 10 minutes where the baby was just quiet and I was holding it, right? And it's like, give me the 5 minutes and I'll eat the 23 hours and 55 minutes of brutal pain, right? Okay, so love is the most powerful force in the world. Love is what's going to keep us going, okay? Another one was fun. Love, fun, community, humility, truth. These are big time power words that raise our levels. Like we are vibing very high in the fitness world when these are the types of words that are naturally flowing out of us. Both these guys, it's like effortless. So maybe just to finish this off, tell everybody what's like really fun for you guys right now in your fitness. And then let's just endeavor to spread some more fun, creativity, and joy out in the fitness world, because I think it's a serious place and it's a deep place and it's a hard place, which is all true, but in the Taoist paradox, like the hard always yields to the soft, guys. Like, come on, right? Yeah. So maybe let's leave it off with some fun and inspire people to go out there to explore, adventure, get creative, and let passion kind of take over for a little bit here, at least in terms of the fitness world. So whoever wants to jump on that first, please. Go for it, TJ.
I think for me, it ties into literally you said, what's my passion? What's the fun things? Like I'm a huge fantasy nerd. That's the other. If fitness was one half of my life, the fantasy fiction space, whether it be books, movies, comics, video games, that's the other half of TJ. I literally have 2 swords from shows I've watched on my garage.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd, dude. I'm a nerd. So for me, it's things like, and this kind of Jordan talks about this, like storytelling with your fitness. Like when I'm swinging my mace, there's a ton of functional reasons that's good in exercise. But guess what? That's the closest I get right now to pretending I'm some old warrior with a big war axe. Or when I'm picking up the sandbag, I'm like, oh, this is like I'm carrying my buddy in his freaking chainmail armor, or like stuff like that. Like that's literally what goes through my head, and I'm like, I cannot. Like if I was in swinging a sword out in my front yard, I'd get the cops called on me. But guess what? I can do this mace, and it's at least a little socially acceptable. And it's like everyone's like, look at that guy who cares about fitness, and in my head, I'm just like. It's like a battle hymn is playing in my head.
That's so good.
Like that's it for me. That's my why, really. Like it's like I'm just pretending I am a warrior in another time, training to slay a dragon.
Holy shit, I love that.
You're sports are just a simulation of war, anyways, buddy. So we're all good.
We're all just prepping for the same things, really.
1,000%. Oh, that's so good.
That's great, man. Right now, my fitness, I haven't been to the gym in years. I own a gym. I barely even go to that place. I haven't been to the gym. Last time I was there, probably when Jordy was in town. I can't even tell you last time I was there. And Most of my training is just from home. I got the little garage. I got my dip and pull up station. I got the torture tool, you know, the Echo bike out there. And I've been really like pushing the mile pace. I did a minute 58, minute 59. It's debatable. I couldn't move for like 30 minutes after. I thought I was like tired. My heart rate's like 6,000. I should have been dead. You know, like I just tortured myself. And all my training though, like it's typically like right now actually. So when I get off this thing, I'm heading right to the garage. And on my way though, we put our kid down at 1. He hopefully gets a nap till 3. And I always tell my wife, I'm like, yo, come out. And my wife will walk, and she's like, that's kind of her fitness is basically like walking, picking the kid up and stuff. And but I'm always trying to include her in everything I'm doing. I'm like, yo, come watch me work out, you know. And then I'm lifting, and she's like, oh, dang, babe, nice arms. And I'm like, you know, extra 10 reps in that thing. And if I'm like solo dadding it or trying to get an extra workout in, I work out back here, like, you know, do my sandbag stuff. And my kid's playing at the water table. I put a video up yesterday, jumping over the water table. Like
that was awesome, by the way. I was like, hell yeah.
We got to jump more, right, bro? We really got to jump.
Oh yeah.
So he's like watching me. So he follows up. Like I'll jump rope and he'll walk over after. And then he'll like, obviously he's a 2-year-old. He doesn't jump rope, but he'll like take the jump rope and he'll smack himself with it. So he's getting tougher too, which is great. And just training in front of him, I'll be doing my push-ups and he gets on the ground and he's on his knees. He looks like he's humping the ground. He's doing like push-ups and he's doing those. And I'm like, let's go, dude. So I can tell that he's just mimicking my behavior. And that really fuels me and inspires me. And most of my training is done with him. So I either push him in the stroller. I get a lot of steps each day. I push him in the stroller. Every day we go for like a 4-mile family walk. Sometimes 2 4-mile family walks. So a lot. We already did our 4-mile before we got on a call today, and we'll do it again here after he wakes up. So my training's done with him. Most of my endurance training is with him. And then we also have a mountain bike, and he has a little seat in front. And most of my mountain biking is just around the neighborhood. Every once in a while hits trails, but he's with me when we're mountain biking. So I'm just including him in all of my activities and all of my efforts. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He's getting some adventure vibes as well. So he's intrigued by it. And I never want my kid to outsource this superhero, man. I want to be. So I know, how do you spell love to a toddler? Play.
Play. I can't believe that's a word that didn't come out of my mouth the whole time.
I really.
Holy smokes. The play, you know, it's all good.
Word of the day.
There's more talks in the future for all that. Oh, man. That's so good. Let me bridge what you guys both said. TJ, that like capitalizing on like what you're interested in your fitness is so valuable. This is one of the reasons I fell in love with trail running, is because I'm a history nerd. Like I'm actually a historian. And I'm from Canada. My favorite part of Canadian history, I'm sort of reading now about it again. It's like when the Europeans made contact with the indigenous or the Indians. And I just, you know, like hundreds of times on trail runs, I'm imagining myself as like, oh no, like the white man is invaded and I'm the runner and I got to get to all of the weird little villages that are at all these opposite and I've got to go fast. Otherwise they're going to get my wife and kid. And it's like, you can put yourself into like the things that you are interested in, just like with a little bit of creativity. So I've like imagined myself in so many of those like scenarios that it's like, yeah, very good. Lean into your nerd. And then the thing that's really fun for me right now, we have a 5K in our village that's going to happen on July 4th, and I'm going to run it with my daughter. She's 8 years old.
Oh, heck yeah.
So we just started we just started 5K training. And she's going to be doing a duathlon too, because they run this kids duathlon. It's amazing. We have a velodrome in our little village. I live in a very silly place in the North Shore of Chicago. So she gets to bike and race on the velodrome and then go out and do a run, which she did last year. But she's like, I want to do much better this year. And we're out on this we're out doing this like first training. And, you know, it's my morning on the weekend to be with the kids. I get one morning on the weekend, which I go and run at sunrise, and my wife sleeps in. She works hard. And so I took both the kids out. I took my little man out on his bike and I took her out to the path, and I'm like, we're going to run for a mile or something like that. And then she didn't want to run for a mile. She was like, no, I don't want to stop. I want to keep pushing. Like, I love the challenge. Like, I will not quit. I will not. Just this tiny little 8-year-old, right?
Yeah.
She's so fierce. And it's like, that's the fun for me right now, is seeing exactly like, where did she learn that from? Like, it's in her, obviously, but she sees she's been in the bouncer since she was 2 months old, watching me jump rope, right, and being in with the workouts with me, and like seeing that fruit come to bear now with us going to be doing another race together, but her really like wanting to challenge herself. Like this is the greatest training of all time. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday morning this week where we're going to go back out and I'm going to push her towards whatever the next little thing is. And that's like what's really alive for me and fun. We're on a little bit over the 1 hour mark now, so I don't want to steal anybody's more of anybody's time. So we'll just wrap this guy up. No big conclusion. I didn't promise a conclusion. I just promised fun and some laughs and also some golden nuggets of wisdom. And if you were listening, you better have mined a whole bunch of them.
Take some notes.
Holy smokes, these guys brought the fire today. They definitely brought their best selves. And I'm so honored and humbled to be on the conversation with both you guys. Thanks so much for joining. If you're listening back to this, just I don't even know how to end this other than like, this is fun. We're going to do it again. I'm going to host these every month on Substack. We'll have a rotating bunch of people to come in on their availabilities. And there's lots of fun people here on Substack in the fitness world. And I think we all need to get together a little bit more and promote this kind of ecosystem, like with these kind of conversations here, because you can't do this on other social media sites. They're not deep enough. So thanks, TJ. Thanks, Zach. If you guys have a final word, that's great. If you guys got to power on off. Love you guys. And everybody.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be here and giving us this space to talk, man. This was awesome. I feel like I learned a lot myself. Like I feel like I'm getting better and want to be better from this conversation. So hope everyone else feels that way that was listening.
Love that. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. TJ, great meeting you, bro. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, man.
Oh, man.
We'll talk more to y'all soon.
All right.
We'll be running laps together faster than you guys even know. All right. Peace and love. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, too. We love you.